Bridging Workplace Divides. Drawing on his experience as a U.S. Army Ranger, Terence McElroy explores how cultural and political differences can foster unity and leadership. By Alyssa LaFaro. The summer before his senior year of high school, Terence McElroy found himself in an unexpected place, a leadership camp at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. He was there to prepare for his new role as captain of the cross-country team. It was a place I never could have imagined myself, he admits. Despite growing up just 60 miles south of West Point, McElroy had few connections to the military. But something about the structure, the discipline, and the drive of those around him, people striving to be their best mentally, physically, and academically, resonated deeply. So much so that he applied to West Point for college and got in. That first summer of training, though, was a shock. I was not a very good cadet at first, he says, chuckling. But I adapted, and by the end of freshman year, I loved it. With his family just 45 minutes away, McElroy often brought fellow cadets home during school breaks. The mix of his West Point peers and high school friends sparked lively and sometimes tense conversations. There would always be tension and conflict, he says. When you're 21 years old and having all these late-night discussions about life, politics inevitably came up. I always found myself as more of a peacemaker, seeing the good points made by both sides. Those moments stuck with him. Today, as a professor at the UNC Kenan-Flagler Business School, McElroy studies how effective polarization, the growing dislike and distrust of people with different political views, affects the workplace. He also explores how multicultural experiences shape leadership. I think a lot of the lessons I learned in the military translate nicely into the business world, he says. From the Army to academia. After graduating from West Point in 2010, McElroy became a field artillery officer and completed airborne school at Fort Benning, Georgia. Then he became a U.S. Army Ranger, completing tours in Afghanistan and Italy. Being 23 years old and leading soldiers, many of whom were older than me, was a huge challenge and a very humbling experience, McElroy shares. You're leading people from all walks of life, and I quickly realized that I couldn't communicate with everyone the same way. Eager to improve his leadership skills, McElroy enrolled in an MBA program at the University of Virginia after completing his service in 2016. It was really my MBA experiences that shaped my interest in pursuing topics related to our cultural differences and figuring out moments where we could bridge divides, he says. One professor recommended he read The Righteous Mind: Why Good People Are Divided by Politics and Religion by Jonathan Haidt. The book, which explores moral foundations theory, a framework co-developed by Haidt to explain the psychology of morality, struck a chord. Inspired, McElroy decided to pursue a PhD focused on political ideology in the workplace. At the time, few business schools were exploring the topic, and he wasn't sure if it was the right path. Then, fate intervened. He saw Haidt on a train in New York City. The renowned social psychologist encouraged McElroy to pursue the research and even offered to help with his PhD applications. I was blown away by his generosity, McElroy says. He reviewed my materials and encouraged me to pursue my interests during a time I was unsure I could even talk about politics at a business school. Without that, I don't know if I'd be where I am. Culture, conflict, and connection. McElroy was drawn to Kenan-Flagler's PhD program by faculty like William Maddox, whose research delves into how cultural experiences shape creativity, leadership, morality, and decision-making in the workplace. Their shared interests made Maddox a natural fit as McElroy's advisor. McElroy focuses his research on countering effective polarization, the tendency to view those with opposing political beliefs as fundamentally different or threatening. He argues that this misperception is fueled by extreme views amplified through social media, partisan news outlets, and political rhetoric. His findings suggest that multicultural experiences such as studying abroad often lead to more open-minded perspectives, a deeper understanding of personal identity, and a greater ability to form meaningful connections with others. When people go abroad, they're immersed in a new culture, surrounded by a different language and forced to adapt, McElroy says. They're outside their comfort zones. Many return as better leaders because they've faced challenges and succeeded. It changes people. McElroy also suggests that embracing contradictory beliefs, rather than trying to change someone's mind, may be a powerful strategy for reducing polarization and cultivating empathy across ideological lines, especially since nearly 75% of employees are having politically charged conversations in the workplace, according to McElroy. We know these conversations are happening, he says. We want to provide managers with a framework to foster a culture where people feel safe expressing differing views. One practical approach? Teaching leaders to be listeners. McElroy sees the impact firsthand with his executive MBA students. In one coaching session, students bring in real leadership challenges they're facing. There's often a light bulb moment, he says. We focus on truly understanding the problem, actively listening, and they start solving it themselves just by talking through it. He believes this same approach can transform political conversations. When people listen with the intent to understand rather than debate, they're better positioned to resolve conflict and build trust. I'd love to live in a world where we could talk about our experiences and our beliefs from a place of curiosity, he says. That's the direction I hope my research continues to explore. Terence McElroy is a clinical assistant professor in the Department of Organizational Behavior within the UNC Kenan-Flagler Business School.